Hello and welcome to Bedson and Coffey Unfiltered,
where we will be discussing fitness, lifestyle, healthy eating habits, relationships, gas station performance pills, answering romantic queries. You have anything else, Tyler? Is there anything? Do you need help with anything right now? Because I feel like I'm in a position where I can help you with it.
I mean, and everything else that we come across as we go. But you know what it's going to be, right?
It's going to be unfiltered. So you like going to Buc-ee's?
Yeah. Would you ever own a monkey?
Would I ever own a monkey?
Yeah. Like if you could get, like, somebody was like, hey man, I got this monkey. I can't take care of it. Will you take it?
Are you trying to give me a monkey?
No, but I'm curious of like what your stances are on like people
what kind of monkey?
Like a
little one?
Chimpanzee.
Them dangerous.
Yeah.
No, I've seen them. They mess people up.
Rip your face off.
There's a documentary, and it is fantastic. There's a lady that like Chimp Crazy or something's the name.
Yeah.
But she is with chimps. What Joe Exotic,
Tiger King.
Tiger King was with tigers.
Wow.
She steals one and takes it with her.
What the hell?
Yeah, they were going to take it for something. And she's like, no, that's mine. And then she like is on the run with this fucking chimpanzee. And yeah.
Does it kill her?
No, it doesn't. But another one whips the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the movie Primate they just came out with this year. That monkey's crazy, bro. It gets rabies somehow.
Did you see when those monkeys were somehow like there was something happened? They were transporting them, and it was in the South, like Mississippi, and the truck runs off the road or something and crashes, and these monkeys get out in the damn woods.
Yeah.
And they were like infected with herpes and
all
kinds of crazy shit.
And shit.
Wow.
Do you remember, this may be like a conspiracy, but I remember way back in the day, there was something on the news about like monkeys escaping. People said they could fly. Is that true? You ever heard that? What if you saw a flying monkey? Like, that'd be fucked.
That'd be a little different.
I had to move my mic. It was covering my face.
We don't need that.
Yeah,
not that money maker right there. Yeah. That's what people tune in for. A flying monkey. I mean,
dangerous.
Without any genetic alteration.
I suppose it probably still like has.
They can't flap their arms that fast.
Yeah, it has wings though. You know.
Then that would be an alteration.
Okay, fair enough.
What are we talking about? Like a what? Gliding monkey?
Gliding monkey, yeah. Jumps from trees, comes at you. You imagine you in your backyard. You're just sitting there, and all of a sudden, monkey, attack.
Yeah, like a flying squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, again, if we're talking like, I mean, even a spider monkey would be hard to deal with. I mean, because they got them little hands, and they'd be all over you, and it just...
So last night, this is off topic, but I usually like at night.
It's off topic, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there, and I got something to do, and I'm like, all right, let me go and research something random. So last night I researched Liver King. I was wondering what the hell he's up to these days. Have you seen what happened with him?
I know he is an absolute dumbass.
Yeah. And
the people that believed him and were eating raw testicles and dumb shit, that's the only people with lower IQs than him.
But he was saying that he did it naturally. But then it finally came out that he said that he was spending $11,000 a month on steroids. But the
bulk of that was GH. Yeah, I seen that.
But yeah, when he finally came out and said what he was using, he said, I was using just 120 milligrams a test. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, the GH would make sense. But I'm like, was somebody severely ripping this dude off and he just didn't know? Like, it's a possibility. But anyway, afterwards, he came out of this. He was lying. So then Joe Rogan talked about him on the podcast. So he started stalking Joe Rogan.
Well, that was all for clout, though. He just wanted to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. And, like, you get that stuff, man, like, all these people on social media, when, like Liver King and so on.
Liver King, that's where he's crazy.
And it's like, he's not doing that because he actually wants to fight Joe Rogan. Like, Joe Rogan would beat the brakes off that little dude. He's doing it because he wants to get attached to Joe Rogan for the traffic and the followers and stuff. Yeah. No, he's stupid.
Yeah.
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 And
downfall of Liver King.
And he's like pulling his truck and stuff, and then like off camera there's somebody in it with it just idling or something.
That's hilarious.
Road, it's so stupid. So that's what you're gonna do now? You're gonna buy a monkey and just eat raw liver?
That'd be wild. That would be, it's kind of what we were talking about. Yeah, I feel like that That would make sense.
I mean, I feel like that's where you're headed at this point.
No. Those are like two things I don't want to do. You know, it's just, I'm not a big fan of eating organs. Sounds kind of like cannibalistic type shit, you know, kind of weird.
When was the last time you ate an organ?
Oh, I had cow tongue once.
Did you?
Yeah. But then I felt sick afterwards. So I didn't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually like went to this like Mexican restaurant downtown, and they had like on the menu, it was like these special meats, and they were like, I didn't really know what it was. I didn't research it. I was just like, I was young. I just ordered it, and I was like, all right, this is a special meat they got. It turns out it was cow tongue, and they like chopped it up and put it in tacos. And then afterwards, I looked it up. It wasn't too bad. You know, it's kind of weird tasting. I was like, this is kind of odd. Anyway, I didn't finish it, but I looked it up later. I was like, oh shit, that was cow tongue.
I've eaten cow tongue.
Have you?
Do you remember Sagano's that was up here years ago?
Where was that at?
I don't remember the location, but like it was a sushi place. And the little dude that ran it was this elderly Japanese dude. And he was old when I went in there. And then it closed down not long after, but it'd been open for a long time. But it was actually surprisingly good from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cow tongue.
Yeah.
You can make anything taste good with the right method, I guess.
Have you ever had like mountain oysters?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Cooked, or did you eat them raw?
They were cooked and fried, yeah. What are they? They have like 100 different names for those lampreys.
Well, that's lamb.
Yeah, lamb balls.
Yep, that's lamb testicles.
Yeah. You can get those at I can't remember the name of the place. It's like some steakhouse around here that has like the Nighthawk special. You know what I'm talking about?
Nighthawk special?
The Nighthawk special.
So you go in, you ask for the Nighthawk special, and they bring you a bunch of testicles?
No, it's a steak, but they do have testicles there as well, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Covered in gravy.
That'd be...
So what do we got coming up? We got Valentine's Day this
Valentine's
week.
Day is coming up this week.
You got plans for that? Do you guys still celebrate Valentine's Day?
Well, I mean, I think most people do on some level.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always busy with stuff, but I try to make time to do something.
You know what's crazy is I guess this city has gotten so populated. I tried to book something for Valentine's Day. I was like, oh yeah, I can just do it.
No, you better do that like December,
January
November.
1st. I was like, oh shit. All right. Well, everything we wanted to do is kind of booked up. So we're like, okay, we found a place, so we're good.
Yeah.
But I wrote my calendar for this year, but in like December, I'm like, look at Valentine's Day restaurants.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got to do it that early now. People are booking shit up beginning of December.
Well, it's just so easy to do that now because you can just get on your phone and like I forget the name of the app, but I have the app where I can like book reservations and so on. So it's just super easy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you ain't got to call somebody no more.
They're coming up, but that's always a fun time of year, you know.
Yeah,
except for people that don't have anybody, and it's really sad.
Is it?
I guess not. Maybe they like it. Maybe like they guess they do. They can do like a Galentine's thing if you're a single female, or if you're a guy, you just
you can do what?
You can't do much.
Yeah, well, you know,
you play Xbox with your friends. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah, it very much is different. Yeah, but no, I mean it's noticed you didn't really say anything about getting me anything for Valentine's Day, but okay, that's fine. Who's Rose Palmer?
Who is Rose Palmer? I see what he's saying.
For the Rosie Palmer.
Okay, that makes sense.
I guess that is something that guys could do. Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be like, "What are y'all talking about?" I guess you can Urban Dictionary it or something. They have that still.
Yeah, I think they do.
Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I had to look something.
That's how I learned slang. You know, I always looking up slang and try to figure out the latest slang.
Yeah, 6'7".
Dictionary. 6'7". That didn't mean anything.
Does it?
8'9". You say that to a child whenever they say 6'7", they get really pissed off. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time you hear your child say 6'7", say 8'9". 8'9". Yeah. They get really upset.
Like, do you say it like aggressively?
Yeah.
When they do
You have to kind of like be really rude about it.
Like bark at them.
Like, you know how the Grinch talks? Like that.
Can you show us?
No.
So here, we'll do a role play real quick. So I'm a child, okay? I need you to get in character here. So like I'm young and full of wonderment and having a great day, and I just Had a basketball game that morning, had pizza with my friends. I'm in the mall and I walk by and I say, hey, 6'7". And then you go ahead.
And then you come in, but you got to jump at them though. You got to jump
You
at
just suck at this, don't you? Jesus Christ. I'd like to apologize to our viewers right now. Just trying to make this work.
We'll switch the roles then. So we'll see if you can do it. All
and
right.
I'm you?
No, yeah, you're the.
No, I'm you. Like, cause you said you do it. So I'm you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a child. I come up to you at the mall. 6'7".
God, my tummy hurts. I think I need to go to the doctor. 8'9". Is that?
Hey, it doesn't hurt anymore.
I'm glad you got it fixed.
I got my appendix finally removed. Everybody, just letting you know.
Yeah, you had a
great experience. You know, you go in.
You had a full hysterectomy, didn't you?
No, I just had my appendix removed.
Oh, gotcha.
Appendectomy, as they say.
That's the term.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. You know, I'm sure you've had like 1,000 surgeries in your life with all your injuries.
I've had a few.
Yeah, so you know what it's like. You just basically go in there and then they do a lot of prep for nothing and they stick a needle in your arm and then you wake up. And then you're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I woke up during the stem cells, and at one point they like had
woke up during it? Is that supposed to happen?
I mean, well, it's like a light sedation. Like it's not like general anesthesia.
Okay, so there's kind of like.
So I think they just like hit you with like some Versed or something.
Yeah.
And they just kind of ran it through. Like I wasn't intubated or anything, and they just kind of run that into your IV.
Yeah.
And I woke up at one point and I was like, when do we get because they had to go into your pelvis.
Ooh.
And like extract bone marrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, a substantial amount. And I woke up and I was like, have we done that yet? Are we about to? And the other doctor's like, no, we already got that and you're good.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. And then the anesthesiologist come back, hits me with some more. I go out again and I wake up and I'm on my side and I can't feel the injections.
Yeah.
Like he's going into my spine. And like, I guess they're like resonation. Like I could hear it in my head. Like I could hear the bone just, yeah. And then some other stuff happened that I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah. So I had to have that colonoscopy done too, because they wanted to see if I had cancer and make sure everything else was good as well. So
did you go to the doctor for this one?
Yeah.
Good.
Good. Couldn't do it at home this time.
Good.
But I woke up like, cause like I said, it's like a short nap, and I woke up and I'm still like laying on this bed, and I'm like, I look up, I'm like, yo, am I supposed to be awake? And then the nurse like, oh yeah, you're fine. It's done. I was like, oh, okay, good.
Something that makes like no sense to me with that is like, we can do x-rays.
Yeah.
And see bones inside of the body. We can do an MRI and see soft tissue. You can go to the airport and they can look through and see any abnormalities. We can use Google Earth and like zoom in and see.
Yeah.
Why do you have to put something inside of my ass to see my intestines?
That's a good question.
Good
question.
It is.
Yeah. Maybe they just like to do it. You ever think about that? Like, imagine
one guy gets into that profession for love of the game.
Look, we gotta find the history of colonoscopies, like how that started. Cause like they didn't have the technology when that started.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever looked at how they did the first surgeries? Like, shit was crazy, bro. Like they're like, bite down on this rag and we're going to cut you.
Cigarettes.
Like,
all right, bub.
They got like an axe and a chainsaw and they're like, all right.
Like the primitive medical stuff is pretty interesting. Like you had bloodletting. It's you just got too much blood. Like let's get rid of some of that.
That's the crazy thing is I remember when I was like first getting into bodybuilding and I was like curious of like there were some people that they can't donate blood where they're from because of like their steroid use, and so I remember watching this video one time and it was like a bodybuilder from like the UK or something. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head.
He done it himself.
Yeah, they were like they were just in their bathtub and they just had they attached the needle and then they're just sitting there like spilling out blood into the drain. I'm like, damn, that's pretty fucking hardcore. Like, I don't know about that, but hey, what you got to do to stay healthy, I guess.
Ends justifies the means.
Hey, you want to live and get big, you got to do some bloodletting. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you'd want to keep track of.
Yeah.
You don't want to just take a guess at. It looks like about enough. Maybe a little more. When I start losing my peripherals, I'll stop.
We'll do 30 seconds of this today and see how that works. Like, I don't know. That's not,
And then you get into a Netflix show, and then
it's
before
just
long,
on
you know,
and you're dead.
yeah.
That'd be tragic. I'm like, bad way to die. That'd be really like, I wouldn't tell anybody that's the way you died. Like, I'd have to like make something else up. Technically be a suicide.
Yeah, accidental suicide.
Yeah, I guess. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. But so let's chat about, finally got back to competing.
Yeah, I did. So I had my first comp in grappling last September. It was the first time competing since 2012.
Man.
Like prior to the knee surgery.
Yes.
And
you did your bodybuilding stints between that though. Like, you competed in the WBFF, and then you did NPC shows, did pretty well. But like we've talked about, your goal has always been to get back to more like MMA and jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
So that was kind of what I got into as a kid that kind of led me to, the other things that I've ventured out into. But, so as a kid, I got involved in martial arts and more of an MMA style approach than just specifically jiu-jitsu. Like any jiu-jitsu I learned was for the sake of fighting rather than just competitive jiu-jitsu. But yeah, so the last like grappling comp I did was like 2012. And then, after 13 years away, I did another one this past year. So
that was after all the surgeries and.
Yeah. So I was out there with 2 fake shoulders.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you feel pretty good?
I did. I felt pretty good. I had to cut weight to have some opponents in that particular one. So I'd cut down to like 195.
Damn. That's pretty light for you because I'm used to walking around with like 220, 210.
Yeah. So normally, like I would walk around. Well, I mean, at my heaviest prior to those osteophytes breaking off of my shoulder, I was like 243.
Yeah.
With relatively low body fat. I was pretty, there's a lot of tissue on my frame. And then after that, I had to adjust some things. And I thought, well, maybe if I, drop down a little bit, maybe I'll feel better. But there was no correcting that issue. Once I figured out what it was, it made sense. But, and then, after the surgeries, I got down like high 190s maybe.
Yeah.
Body comp was different because I'd lost a lot of tissue. But then got back up to 210, 212. And then, adjusted and did a cut to 195 to have a bracket to be in at that one.
Yeah.
And, just manipulated my water and adjusted some things. And then by the time, like I got the weigh-in first thing that morning at this event, they had like, weigh-ins first thing in the morning, and then matches were throughout the day. And my matches were like mid-afternoon, like 2:00 is when the bracket started. So like from 9 a.m. till then, I was able to hydrate as best I could and get some carbs in, try to refill. And then was able to get a couple matches in, feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Since then, I've worked to get back to a weight that feels more comfortable for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm probably 212, 213.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. And I feel good at this weight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to try to compete a lot heavier than this. Nah. I don't think I would, feel good. But the comps that I'm hoping to do this year in one of the particular federations, IBJJF, you weigh in at almost your mat time. So like cutting would be, negative. Like if you were to cut 10 pounds and then you weigh in and you got to compete in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like what are you going to do? So, and that's how it works. Like, are you familiar with like, I don't know if you ever seen like a track meet or any sporting event where they have like on deck, up next.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So like whenever you have like, you're maybe 4 out, you'll go onto the board. So I have like this big screen TV set up at the exam area there where they kind of check you before you go into the bullpen. And like once you're on the board there, then you can weigh in.
Yeah.
And like if you're in the gi, they'll inspect your gi, make sure it's a certain way and meets the criteria. Or if it's no gi, they'll check your nails, all that stuff. And then they'll send you back to weigh. You get one chance to weigh. And if you're over, you're disqualified. So, and then from there, you go into the bullpen and then you're just there waiting to go onto the mat.
Yeah.
And it depends on how quickly those matches run. Like if the matches ahead of you end early in submission, I mean, you might be in there for a few minutes and then you're off.
Yeah.
So there's no rehydration there, so you need to be walking around at a weight that you can be hydrated,
Perform well.
be filled up, ready to go. So the super heavyweight class in it's 215, and that's where I plan to be.
Yeah.
So for me, walking around at 212, 213 gives me some room there because you weigh in, in your grappling attire.
Yeah.
So that counts for a little bit. And the 215s for no gi. In gi, they give you a lot more weight for the gi. It's kind of weird how much they give you because the gis don't weigh a ton anymore. But so yeah, for me and the guys that I coach, I like to make sure in those top comps we're walking around at a weight that we can adequately hydrate and fuel up, prior to even having to weigh in. Otherwise, you're not gonna feel good.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I feel like we both kind of gotten into a life after bodybuilding after doing it for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
I still use a lot of my habits that I did from contest preps and off seasons.
Absolutely.
And I think I always will. It's kind of just how I live my life now.
Yeah.
And I like it that way. I like my routine. I like my structure. I like having my things to do. But what I found is I've had to kind of get into alternate ways of training and ways to stay active so that my body responds well, so I can, live longer and feel good. And for me, I had to lower my weight a little bit as far as my body weight.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you had to do the same thing because when we were doing bodybuilding competitions, you were up to, like you said, around 240 at times.
Yeah.
And you're big as hell.
Well, that was the feedback we got from, the show in the Knox Classic.
Yeah.
Like, even though I had won my class, they're like, you really need to move up.
Yeah.
And do bodybuilding.
Which
I couldn't at the time because I couldn't
do the
pose
poses.
For it.
And that was always, I remember so many people would mention that to me, and I'm just like, well, honestly, yeah, we would if we could.
Yeah.
And it's like something we had to continuously explain.
Mm-hmm.
But now for me, like I was walking around like 205, 210, and I'm only 5'4", I'm short. It's hard on the body.
But that's a lot of tissue on your frame.
And now I'm down to like 170, 175, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah, and you're still very muscular at that size.
Like I feel like very healthy. It's funny because like people at the gym and people I see haven't seen me in a while, they're like, man, you look really healthy. Like you look really good. But I always take that as like, you look small. And it's something I've had to get past now because I'm like, all right, different phase of life. I've been off everything for 7 months. We finally got the fertility back in order. Like, it's time to have kids. Like, we're in a good spot. But it's so different than the life that I was living where it was so regimented to stay at a certain size. And now I'm trying to be able to actually just move and do things.
So I think, especially as we age, like, we're changing versions of ourselves throughout the years. And you look back at yourself prior to bodybuilding, you're like, okay, that's one version. And then, you get to a point in bodybuilding, you're like, okay, that's another version, and so on. And then you get to a point in life to where maybe you're changing, and now you don't want to let go of that last version because you really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But for you to evolve and you to move on to the next phase and be healthy, be able to do the things you want to do, there's conflict there in trying to maintain that older version, and you may not be able to at this point.
Yeah.
There may be issues where you have injuries, or you run into health issues, or whatever the case is. But that tends to be the battle. And I think for anyone who's been an athlete and been on a competitive level, especially those that have competed on a very high level and elite level, it begins to be difficult whenever because you essentially you kind of associate yourself with that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's who I am. That's what I do. If I can't do that, I'm not me. And I think it's really difficult for people to let go of that. And I think that's something we don't talk about very much.
Yeah.
But I think once you get to a certain point, and especially if that's been like a goal over the course of many, many years, then you get to a point and you're kind of happy with that. And you're like, I feel good about myself. I feel great here. And then something happens, life happens, injuries occur, whatever, and you're no longer that. A lot of people don't know how to handle that.
No, it's different.
And sometimes it can lead to depression. It can lead to, I've seen people spin, have a downward spiral out of control, because they can't do the things they once did.
Well, for me, like finding something else to do is the main thing. And so I've started getting more into like kickboxing, Muay Thai, and I still do like my morning cardio, which I really enjoy. It gives me time to watch. Like I'll put something on my iPad and watch a show I don't usually get to watch, and I'll just, start my morning off like that. still eat about 4 or 5 meals a day, keep the same diet. And keeping those habits, I feel like is the key. Like, and I still have like my morning routine with my morning drink, and I still have my supplementation I take and everything to remain healthy and feel good, to make myself feel like I'm doing something at all times.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, one of the big parts of like what bodybuilding was to me, is like I had my exact details and everything I did.
You had
the structure. And I feel like that's something that even when you're done competing, even if it's for a period of time and you plan on going back to it, keeping some sort of structure is something you have to do.
Well, that applies to everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like as humans, we do better when we have structure. Like, there's this saying, you can give them enough rope to hang themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes having so much variance and so much, room to make errors or choices or whatever else, sometimes you don't always do the best things there. But touching on a point there, bodybuilding as a lifestyle is extremely healthy.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding as a lifestyle is very healthy. Ideally, you're eating the same foods that you digest well, that you can make use of, and you're eating them daily in a regimented fashion. You're strength training, you're doing cardio. And as a lifestyle, it's extremely healthy.
Yeah.
Now, when you compete and you do so on a certain level, that's not always healthy, and it can be very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Some people can push it to a point that it's very unhealthy, but that's the case when you go to an extreme in any sport to a degree.
Yeah.
It can be unhealthy, but that's the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to be elite in this, and that's going to require sacrifices from me. And am I willing to make those sacrifices? And if you are, then okay. If you're not, then okay. And there's that's a decision that has to be solely made by that person.
And like, I'm really glad I did everything I did in my 20s.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I could get back there if I really wanted to. It's just, I was talking to Laura even last night, and I was like, it's crazy. I feel so much better being lighter. And she was like, yeah, well, you weren't supposed to be 210 pounds at 5'4". Like,
right.
That's not normal at all, which even for you, like being 240, that's not technically like, that's something very hard to do and hard on your body to maintain for extended periods.
Even a maintenance amount of calories is difficult to eat when you get that much mass over where your body wants to be.
Oh yeah.
And that's a conversation that I have with a lot of guys that want to move up in weight classes. When we're looking at it in that aspect, okay, are you naturally a heavyweight? Because, okay, so for instance, like Brandon Reed that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
He's a natural heavyweight. Like, you look at him when he was a kid, he was big.
He's a big dude.
He was big. I mean, huge bone structure. As a kid, he's 210 pounds with abs, and like he doesn't even have facial hair yet. And it's like, he's just, he's a big dude. Now, like for me, when I was, 20 years old, I'm 185, in good shape because I was training a bunch and so on, but I hadn't got into the bodybuilding phase where I wanted to grow and so on. But, I explain to people like this, when I'm talking to these guys and they say, I'd like to move up in classes and so on, there begins to be a point of diminishing returns with that.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. If I have like a 2-bedroom home, I build a 2-bedroom home and I put a heat and air unit on that home. All right. Now later I add another bedroom. Okay. And then now I add another room and another room. And this house is now a 4-bedroom home with a den and a theater room and all these things, but I've still got that same heat and air unit.
Yep. It's not going to work.
Man, it's going to run like crazy and it's going to stay on all the time. And it's going to be so taxing on that to try to keep that house regulated.
Yep.
So when you start thinking of it in that manner and you're like, okay, well, is he naturally going to be able to carry that weight and feel good and perform well? And when we're talking about that, we're talking about more of a performance type sport rather than just bodybuilding. On bodybuilding, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you feel on stage as long as you're able to pose and look, good while you do it, we're fine. You're not going to go run a marathon. You're not going to go get in a grappling competition, anything like that. But when we're talking about overall well-being, feeling good, moving well, you do need to consider that. Like, for instance, like, for me, I wouldn't want to go above that 215 cap, like, because I don't feel like I would feel good there. And, well, I mean, I may feel good at 220, but in 220, I'm in another class where there's no cap on it.
Yep.
So then you have to consider that. But there is something to be said about where someone's natural body weight is when we're looking at performance and overall well-being.
Yeah. That's like my recent coach, we just brought another Built by Bedson coach on, Andrew Elam.
Nice.
And it's funny because he's like the same height as me, but his ability to hold weight and it just does not bother him at all. Like he can get massive, and his health, like we just got his blood work back and it's in a good spot. But, somebody like myself trying to get to that weight and hold it, there's going to be some bad markers and stuff I got to really take care
because of the things you'd have to do to get there.
Genetically, though, he's able to just hold that size. And we were talking yesterday. I was like, how do you feel? You're a lean 200, like you're still got glute striations and everything, and you're peeled, but you're 24 pounds up. And he's like, I feel great. And I was talking to another buddy of mine, Justin Wallace, and he's about to compete again this year and do North Americans, go for his pro card, but he's up to 294. And I was like, shit, man, how do you feel at that? And he was like, actually surprisingly good. And there's different people that can just hold those.
Very much.
And I think that's something you find out, like if you get up in those weights and you don't feel good, there's likely some more things you need to fix and be very specific on if you want to continue progressing. Because genetics play a huge role in where your limit is.
Very much. And your genetic threshold for growth, your genetic threshold for, how much tissue you can carry and be able to do so and still feel okay. But even, to touch on something a lot of people don't think about, you have certain people that genetically can either grow with less gear.
Yeah.
Or some people that can tolerate the gear better.
Yep.
And in some cases, you might be limited on your growth because you don't tolerate that gear well.
Yeah.
Even in a perfect setting, you don't tolerate that gear well, and that may essentially limit some growth. Or you sacrifice your health to a greater degree in trying to push the gear to get that growth.
That's like that Justin Compton had an interview they posted last year, and he was talking. He was like, if you have to use over 2 grams or 3 grams to get the size, he's like, you should probably be playing golf. And
yeah, man,
I agree with that. If you're having to run so much anabolics to get the size on, you're probably not made for it. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I think a lot of people are going to end up finding they're slowly killing themselves to try to achieve something that they can't achieve. So my advice for a lot of people that are getting into this is monitor your health and kind of see where your body can handle.
Absolutely.
There are some cases where you may have to get a little bit higher in dosing, but I fear for a lot of these kids nowadays because they're listening to a lot of bad advice and people saying like, you need to run
everybody's got a platform and they can say, well, I'm doing this or I'm doing that.
Everybody can say something, and it's a little alarming because I've had young kids come to me and they're like, I'm running 1.5 grams of tests. And I'm like,
we had a conversation about that.
Why?
We had a conversation about that not long ago.
Said to you.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that. I've seen, I remember seeing a 16-year-old kid talk about how much test and trend he was running.
Yeah. Well, you see those posts on Instagram now, and it'll be like a kid posting, he's like, I'm running 800 tests, 600 trend, and 50 milligrams of D-Bowl daily. And the kid looks like he doesn't even run anything. Yeah. And that's scary to me because I'm like, okay, like where are we starting this at? And luckily, whenever I was younger, I had some decent advice, a lot of the guys surrounding me when I was working in the gym and the supplement stores, like they would be honest with me. They're like, hey, this is, a lot of people are using stuff to get to where we are. We're going to be honest with you, but this is where you should start. And my start was just like, on simple test cycle. And I feel like that's kind of went to the wayside and people were just like, let me use all this and then throw these peptides on top of it and then throw this on top of it too. And then it's not doing anything good because they don't have the basics lined out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're, the first thing to look at is your diet and your training.
Yeah.
If they're not optimal, then, there's nothing that's going to give you those incredible results.
Yeah.
You can't take enough gear to make up for it.
Yeah, you've got to learn all the basics first, and there's way too much information that revolves around skipping the basics. And I get people are trying to get like views and they're trying to get their name out there and get more likes on Instagram or whatnot. But at what cost? It's kind of
thing. That's the thing. It's I feel like a lot of people just throw stuff out there, and whether it's true or not, just saying whatever. But somebody watching that is a fan of this person is
Yeah.
going to believe that.
If I was 16 years old and I saw the person I follow, the bodybuilder, told me that this is what they're doing, I'm going to probably do that.
I believed with all my heart, if I bought hydroxycut and amino acids that they were showing in the muscle mags, I was going to be the next, I was going to look like.
I remember the
And
hydroxycut commercial, and then they interviewed the guy that was in the hydroxycut commercial. I forget who it was. He never took it, and he was taking T3.
Yeah. And
it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And the same guy, I remember, he was on the Bigger, Stronger, Faster documentary.
Yeah, that's the one.
And he was talking about like having to have gynecomastia surgery to remove scar tissue from, having run gear and having issues. And, meanwhile, that hydroxycut really, that's what done it.
Yeah. And now we have the opposite of people being very honest about what they're running, which is also, in my opinion, very dangerous. You have to get advanced. You have to build yourself up. You don't want to start with the most amount you can use, because then you're going to have to continuously try to improve on that. And if you don't have all the basics set up first, and your body's going to just get in a really bad spot.
Well, the body adapts, right?
Oh, yeah.
The body adapts. So if you start at the ceiling, where can you go from there? And, the body adapts, and that's good, but also it can be very, very terrible at the same time, in that, you have a lot of these kids like we were talking about that are very young, and they're in the middle of puberty, and their test is sky high. Well, when you start introducing testosterone via an injection, your body's like, hey, he's giving me this, I don't have to make it.
Yeah.
To put it simply. And you'll lower natural test production. And then now you've come off and you think everything's good. No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
And then before you know it, you're 21 years old and you've got to be on TRT because, and they don't even think about SARMs doing that as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of these things, but
you can buy SARMs at most supplement stores just off the shelf.
Well, I've heard kids say their football coaches told them to get them.
Yeah. So that's a good, I've had to, like I said, come off everything. And a lot of people don't think about it. There's going to be a time where you're transitioning in life and going through, like, say, a different phase.
Yeah.
And for me, that phase has been like, okay, like I did my last competition, and me and Laura discussed, like, we're each going to compete one more time, but then, like, we really want to have a family.
Absolutely.
And that's something, like, whenever I was 21, 22, I didn't really think about and didn't really care about. But
seemed like it was so far away.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, I'll worry about that when the time comes. And I've had to actually work so much harder. And to be, like, completely honest, like, I had to come off all testosterone. I had to run HCG, Clomid, HMG. And it took me months to actually, like, I was shooting blanks. And then it's taken me months to get back to a place where I can actually I'm actually fertile.
Yeah.
And that was something that I think a lot of people don't think about, of what's going to happen after you're done bodybuilding. You're not going to be able to do this forever, no matter who you are. Like, you might, if you're lucky, like, you might be like Kamal and be able to win an Arnold at 45 or whatever, but that's not common.
No.
It's not common at all. And you have to think about what you're going to do afterwards. Like, you see people like Dorian Yates and some of these retired bodybuilders that are, like, I've considered Dorian pretty healthy now.
Yeah.
Like, he's lost a lot of his muscle. He looks very, like, athletic.
Yeah.
He's doing things, though, to keep himself good. But then you have other people like, Ronnie Coleman, who don't look so great.
Yeah.
Or you have a lot of our guys that, like, even guys that I was really a big fan of, like John Meadows and Matt Porter, who passed away very unexpectedly. And contributions from that are probably from, really pushing the limits to reach a goal. But then quitting afterwards, the body couldn't really keep running like it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even on lesser levels, like, I've seen people that, live a stone's throw from me put themselves in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because they just, not having any understanding on what those compounds do and the effects on their health. But
that's why I try to talk to people now. I'm like, what are your goals with this? And do you think you'll be doing it in the next 5 years?
I mean, do they work? Well, of course they work.
Yeah.
Nobody would fucking do them if they didn't. But it's one of those cases where, there is, a threshold, and that can be different for different people. And then there's many things that can change that threshold.
Yeah.
As far as from a health perspective, based on your lifestyle, based on genetic issues, based on many things. But, the idea being that you track your health and you get, educated guidance from somebody that understands those compounds and understands how to keep you safe. And
Yeah. And the realization a lot of people need to make is with running a lot of this stuff and going as hard as you can, like when you're younger, you're going to probably have to pay for it when you're older.
yeah,
I fully believe like I might have traded some years off my life, but now I'm trying to gain them back.
yeah.
And I feel like actually,
Well, that's that
taking a
trade-off. That's
break-
that sacrifice,
Mhm.
right?
Taking a break from everything has actually been a really good thing. I may compete again one day, I don't know. But
Sure.
I keep that in the back of my mind. But I feel like a lot of people need to really think about the future when you get into this. And I think a lot of coaches need to actually be honest about and really read their client. Like, if you're wanting to do this long term, that's great. But think about if you're going to be getting into supplementation or really pushing the size like you need to be, like if you want to be a pro, are you actually interested in doing this long term? And some people, I see them and they bodybuild for 2 or 3 years and then they're like, I want to do something else.
Yeah.
And that's very common. I don't know how many people I've coached and they've won a competition even, and they could have been pro, but then they're just like, I don't like this anymore.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
And that's totally fair. But myself, now being 40 and, looking at things, one of my sponsors, First Optimal, they do my blood work for me. We oversee everything. And it's not a matter of, trying to run a ton of things to be a certain way, but just keeping myself healthy and being optimal, actually having my blood markers in optimal ranges across the board and, doing the things, taking the measures to make sure that that's the case.
Yeah.
And I think so many people think they can't do well without it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, if that was the case, nobody would ever be in shape.
Yeah.
And there's a difference when you think of, each particular endeavor. It's like, okay, well, to be this way in bodybuilding or to be this way in this sport or in life in general, if your blood work is good and your test is in a good range and your thyroid functions in a good range and all these things are where they need to be and you can't get in shape, that has nothing to do with what you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
That has absolutely nothing to do with what you're taking. It's if you couldn't grow in a optimal natural state, then you're not putting the work in.
No.
And you're not watching your diet. You're not doing the things you should have been
Not
doing
being
anyway.
as serious as you could be.
Yeah.
That's doing it the right way is a big thing too. I remember when I first started really getting into bodybuilding, I did it in like shitty ways, honestly. Like I remember I wanted to grow, but my body just would like not put on size.
Mhm.
So my thoughts were, okay, I'll just eat a little bit more dirty food. Like I would go to McDonald's post-workout, or I'd order calzones at 2 a.m. after like going and drinking.
Oh yeah.
Like stupid shit, stupid shit you do in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until I really like locked in on like eating nutritious foods and really adding in colors to the diet. Like I went to my rule of, okay, you have to have 3 servings of fruit a day, 2 servings of vegetables, make your vegetables different, switch up your meat choices, like add the micronutrients all from your diet, that I really started to see results and I really started to feel better.
Sure.
So that's one thing I encourage kids to do these days when they're getting into it, no matter how young you are. Like I went to a posing, like it wasn't a posing clinic, it was more like a NPC informational meeting yesterday where Jimmy Hornback was on. And,
He's awesome.
Yeah, great guy. And he was just explaining to new competitors about the situation. But there was like 15-year-old kids there that were getting into it, which I thought was really cool.
That is.
Because I'm like, I was talking to one of the dads there, and he was like, yeah, my kids are really getting into it. But he was telling me that their idol is the Trend Twins. And I was like, oh man, that's I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
And because I've seen some of their stuff, and I mean, they seem just kind of like kids that got into it early. I remember we had some of those at the LA Fitness back in the day. They were like 17, 18, and they were already running all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him. I was like, man, you need to really like put them in like a natural show first and see if they like it, actually doing the process. Like they may like the part where they're growing and they're seeing new muscle, but are they going to like the part where they cut down and they have to display it on stage?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've tried to tell him that. And it's one of those things where it's like, as a kid these days, though, a lot of the goals seem to be like, I want to be like an Instagram model or like a sensation. I mean, it's not the idea of like exactly becoming pro, but it's trying to get your name out there to, you know, build a career.
Yeah.
Which at the same time, I've seen a lot of those people go to the wayside very quickly. Like when I think of Callum Von Moger, brother, he went, you know, he was like a bodybuilding sensation for a little bit.
The
I
next
remember
big thing.
People compared
They were
him
calling
to
him
Arnold.
2.0.
Yeah, Arnold 2.0. And, you know, and then he competed for a few years. He ended up getting his pro card at Universe, I remember. And then he fell off the face of the earth, man. He was getting in motorcycle wrecks because he was doing who knows what.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything about him in years.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, and getting your pro card is a huge accomplishment, and very few people will. But I think so many people put they put that on such a pedestal, and they don't realize what it would entail to get there. Yeah. And then once you do get there, it's like, okay, well, what am I getting from this? You don't make money from it.
No, it's very rare.
You actually pay for it.
It's very
like you have to pay a membership.
Yeah, you're not making money off the actual being a pro bodybuilder. And I've had to get a lot of people to understand, like it's all based off your following, your appearance, and how you use your following too. Like I know people with 100K followers that don't make shit. Yeah. And I know people that have 500 followers that have used their branding and everything to make, you know, 6-figure years, 7-figure years. So it's all about how you display yourself, but you can't buy into one thing. And that's why, like, I was talking to one of my younger guys. He's got a lot of potential to be really good at bodybuilding. But he asked me genuinely, he was like, hey, man, like, do you think I should go to a trade school or should I just completely pursue bodybuilding? I was like, man, honestly, I would do both. You always want a backup plan. You don't want to go all in on just this and then think, what if it doesn't work out? Yeah. You know what? Like, it's not like it used to be back whenever me and you were younger, just first getting into it. Like, you remember the sponsorships, you get $8K a month for being sponsored by a supplement company. It's just not like that anymore.
Not at all. Cause like there's so many ambassadors across everything.
All ambassadors. And it's all based on if you actually have people use your code to support you.
For sure.
And sure, there are people like Ben Quill, I know does really well with that. Like, he has multiple sponsorships, but he's had to work really hard to get his name out there to build those sponsorships.
And so many people, like especially the younger guys, they'll think, you know, I want this person to sponsor me. I want this person to sponsor me. Yeah. But what do you bring to the table?
Yeah. What do you bring to the table? And what are they actually giving you? Like
it's an advertisement, right? Yeah. Like, you know, they want to associate themselves with you because are you someone that people look at for advice? Yeah. And you think about it, like, a commercial at a random show at 3 a.m. is going to be way cheaper to get than a commercial during the middle of the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know, because of how many people are watching it.
Exactly.
You know, how much traffic do you have and how much influence do you have? Yeah. And, you know, and that comes back to, well, do you know what you're talking about? Yeah. You know, what kind of content are you putting out? Is it legit? Yeah. Because at a point, somebody's going to figure it out.
No, it's crazy what you can do to make money. And, you know, like you have quite a few sponsorships yourself.
I do.
And that helps you out quite a bit, but people buy things from those because of your name.
Yeah.
So, but you say you're trying, like, I know a lot of kids are like, I want to be sponsored by Young LA or Dark Sport. And I'm like, well, all you're getting from them is a couple free t-shirts. You're not getting money.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's not going to buy you food or pay for your living or pay for your housing. Like it's not going to give you that income you think about.
That's right.
Sure. You might have some nice swag, but, that's not going to equate to anything at the end of the day.
I think it's having something to attach themselves to.
Yes.
It makes them feel more accomplished.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking that. That's awesome. No. You know, and that may be a springboard into something great.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think a lot of people will rush into those things without considering it. And then you might actually put yourself in a situation where another company may not want to offer you something because you're already affiliated in some manner. But think of what you bring to the table. You know, it's like applying for a job. You know, what do you bring to the table? How are you going to make our existing team better? Yeah. And if your whole thing is like, well, I'm just going to take a picture in this t-shirt. Okay. Well, there's 1 million people that'll do that. Yeah. And, you know, so yeah, I mean, it's good stuff, but at the same time, it's like, you have to understand, it's like it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give you these things for you to do, with that, and essentially bring more to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So bottom line is there is life after bodybuilding. There may be breaks from bodybuilding, and that's completely normal. I have quite a few people who have turned pro that right now are doing different phases of life. They're trying to get better financial spots. They're trying to improve on their career. They may come back to bodybuilding, but some people may not. And it's something to think about. There may be a time whenever it's just you're past your prime. You're not able to do it because you have other obligations in life. So always think about that. I encourage people these days, like, have backup plans. Don't go all in on it. Be serious. Like, there are people I think that can do well from this, but always have a plan B. And I think that goes for everything in life. You should always have another thing that you can fall back onto, or multiple avenues of investments or revenue that are coming in. Yeah. And I think that is key. Diversify your portfolio.
Right. Yeah.
You've got to, especially with bodybuilding. Like, you can get a lot of ways in here. You can help with coaching. You can do posing. You can get involved with a supplement company. You could start your own supplement company. You could start your own shirt company, like own clothing company. There's a lot of different avenues you can do, but you have to have different things lined up.
Yeah. And just considering that moving forward, like, as you're trying to build your platform and you're getting more and more, you're accomplishing more, or you're increasing your followers and so on, being mindful of that and trying to deliver products and information that are going to make people want to follow you and watch you and, see, feedback from that. Like, watching you to get more information about your diet or your, whatever else, because if you've been doing this long enough, you should have some pretty good info on it.
Oh yeah. That's one thing is, like, I'm follow a very strict diet still. And I like to tell people, like, it's very easy once you've done that for so many years to stick to something, and you find those meals that you really like.
Oh, for sure.
And you keep with them. Like, I eat the same breakfast every day. Yeah. I do my same thing every morning.
I've eaten rice every day of my life for the last 20 years, probably.
Yep, exactly. And it's easy. I find different ways to cook my chicken breast and make it different. Might add some teriyaki one day. Sure. Or might do put a little bit of guacamole and some pico on there.
Whatever works.
You can do everything.
That's somebody asked me once. They're like, if you could never eat rice for the rest of your life or never eat pizza for the rest of your life, which one would you pick? And I'm like, well, when I eat rice every day, and I may eat pizza like
every 6 months or so for me.
So I'm probably going to pick rice because I eat it all the time. I mean, pizza probably tastes better, but I would feel like shit if I ate that every day.
No, yeah, that's one thing. You got to pay the price when you eat pizza. I always tell people that's one of my rules for, like, free meals. I'm like, all right, pizza, we're going to make that, every 6 month thing is kind of what I tell people.
The issue with pizza is it's not one meal. It's several meals.
Oh, yeah.
And then they don't want to throw away what's left when they go out. So they get the box, they take it home, they walk by in the kitchen, and I'll just grab another slice. Then by the end of the night, they've eaten a large pizza, and then they can't understand why they're up 6 pounds.
Oh, yeah. That stuff sticks to you, too.
Man, it does, too.
Like, I don't know how many check-ins I've had where somebody's like, I had pizza for my free meal. I'm not sure why I'm up 1.8 pounds. I'm like, it's because you had pizza. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, all that dairy, all that fat.
Yeah.
Like, people think it's a carb. It's on a crust. There's way more calories from fat in that than there is carbs.
Oh, yeah.
Way more calories.
Yeah, you got cheese. They're using oils inside of the breading.
The meats in it are high fat.
The meats in it are high fat. It's pretty easy to stack up.
Yeah,
it's a dense food.
Very much. Yeah, it's not a high carb food. It's a high calorie food.
Nice. Anything else we want to discuss today?
I think we've summed it up.
Yeah, that went by pretty well.
So you sending me flowers on Valentine's Day or no?
I'll probably send you something.
Oh,
yeah.
You're so sweet.
Like that you can send people that's really odd to me. You can send them just like a box of ladybugs. And then, they open it up. You don't know it's a box of ladybugs possibly. And you just open it. They all fly around your house. They eat all your
If you send me that next podcast we're going to test out how good your kickboxing's come along.
That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Understood.
This has been Bedson and Coffee Unfiltered. Thank you guys for listening.
Make sure to go follow us on social media.